Yes, hello, good afternoon. I have to start this video all over again. Somebody is rerouting calls to me to interrupt my video, so I shut it off, and I can't start up the recording where I left off for some reason. I don't know why. Once I stop the video, I can't add to it, it seems, and I don't know why that's happening. But anyways, I got a phone call, and I dialed the gentleman back. He says he never called me. Okay, so somebody's playing games, but not this time. Anyways, now I got to restart the whole thing. I'm going to go back about a month ago into July. Okay. I had a phone call with Mr. J.L. Lee Mullowney on a Friday. Okay. He told me that, what happened here is I had fired him because he didn't keep his promise. Okay. And he had promised, a Friday, there was 3 weeks ago, Thursday, and the Friday before 3 weeks ago, this past Thursday, the Friday before that, okay, and I have it on my calendar, Mr. Mullowney stated to me on the phone from his office, he said, Dan, next week you're going to have money, you're going to take care of your boat and your mom's headstone. Okay, he told me this. He said he was waiting for a call back from my brother's attorney on the 50% split, okay? And I said, that's fantastic, okay. So he said that he was waiting for a phone call from this attorney while I was on the phone with him on that Friday. So I decided to hang up quickly because I told him to get back to me as soon as he talked to my brother's attorney and things were sort of confirmed. And I went all weekend, okay, telling my wife. I emailed the gentleman who has my boat, who gave it to me, because he wants it off the property. He wants me to take possession of it. And I told him, I'm going to have the money for you next week. My lawyer told me. I told him this, this is what my lawyer told me. He guaranteed this to me. Okay, and my mother's headstone. So Friday went by, no return phone call. And he knew the urgency of this for me. He knew that I'd be, basically biting my fingernails over this, sort of a cliffhanger. So I waited all weekend. And I emailed him on the weekend and called him and asked him, what did you find out, right? No response. So on Monday, I called him and I emailed him, no response. I called him on Tuesday, no response. I emailed him, no response. No response at the office, no response, period. And then what happened here was I started suspecting that once again, Mr. Mullowney lied to me, just like he did, because of what happened with the storage, right? Because he told me not to worry about the storage, that it was taken care of. My mother's bills were taken care of, and not to worry about the storage, that was taken care of. And then me coming up behind him and checking with the storage company, finding out, no, the storage was not taken care of at all, which meant that my mother's bills were not taken care of. And so I called him and told him he lied. I said, you lied to me about the storage. The storage isn't taken care of. You told the storage facility that you were going to contact them back. You never said nothing about paying them. And in this regard, it became obvious to me then that my lawyer was accepting my brother's executor. Because in order for him to tell me the bills are taken care of and the storage was taken care of, and at that time he was communicating with my brother. So my brother was telling him, don't worry, Mr. Mullowney, I'm going to take care of it. And that's why he said that to me. Because you see, Mr. Mullowney can't take care of the bills in my mom's house. He can't take care of the storage because he's not executor. The banks told me that, okay? So I want to make that point clear. This is evidence also for the Supreme Court. I'm going to need to remind myself on my YouTube channels of this information so it doesn't go anywhere. I got to get a laptop and type all this up, all of it. Okay, so I have record of it. So because of that, he was denying the Bonifant will. Okay, he did not respect my position as executor trustee. He knew in February the Bonifant will was the legal will and the other one was illegal. It was illegal, and he knew that. So, and the lawyers that I contacted told me it was illegal, all right? Which means if I contacted these same attorneys back in February, March 2022, after Mullowney had the wills and never told his client that my brother's will was no good, the attorneys who told me more recently that my brother's will is no good and that the other one is the legal will, they would have said the same thing back in February, March, that I contacted them then. While Mr. Mullowney was maintaining that the 2016 will was legal. But he was doing it to keep me from being executor and trustee. That's what Mr. Mullowney was doing, okay? So I finally got mad, realizing that Mr. Mullowney had no intention of giving me any money at all that week. So I fired him. Okay. And I signed the letter and faxed it to, or I signed the letter and I sent it to him by registered mail that he was fired. Okay. And he already had the letter anyway. So he accepted it. Okay. So finally, I contacted him and he said to me, well, you have to reinstate me. Okay, because I have information for you about the estate, but you fired me, so you have to reinstate me before I can give you the information, he said to me, okay? So I said, okay. So I wanted to know what he had to say, okay? So I ran down to his office with a letter reinstating him, but I indicated in the letter, and I have it here, that the reinstatement was conditional, okay? And he knew that, okay? I don't care if he liked it or not, it was conditional, all right? Because of his activities. So after that, I had an appointment at Scotiabank when I took the letter to his office on a Thursday. I had an appointment with Scotiabank on Rideau regarding my mother's estate. So I went in, I parked my bicycle, went into the bank, and I sat down waiting to be called for the appointment. And I called him on my iPhone, this phone here that I'm talking to you on. And he said to me, well, your brother's agreed to the 50% division. And that's when he told me about the real estate agent and the other things. But here was what I didn't say to him. Okay? He told me he was applying for an executor certificate. Now, he shouldn't have done that. Okay? Because why is one reason. What Mr. Mullowney was trying to indicate that my brother and I, neither of us could be executors? Mr. Mullowney knew that I was forthcoming, honest, had integrity, and fully intended to carry out my mother's will as executor and split the estate with my brother. He knew that. He knew that I was honest and decent. Okay, there was no reason for him. And he never told me who was going to be executor. He never indicated to me he was applying for an executor certificate. Now, months ago, my brother had another lawyer. And, of course, that lawyer apparently bailed on him, too. But this is all hearsay by Mullowney. I don't know if any of it's true. He lied about the storage. So I just don't know what is truth from him and what is lies. I just don't know, okay? But when he talked to my brother's former attorney that also bailed on him, he had offered that lawyer a joint executorship with him over the estate, okay? Or they could choose someone, the two of them could choose someone that they both agree on. This was his idea. I guess, for me, out of desperation to get the estate dealt with, I kind of let that one go and said, well, okay, sure, all right. But my brother would have to agree to give up his executorship as well, okay, in the Bonifant will and the other will. But the other will doesn't exist. It's illegal. So that really doesn't play a role. And he told me right away, he told me back then right away that, he had asked my brother's former attorney about a joint executorship. Okay. Well, this time around, when he informed me he was applying for an executorship, he would have, if he was applying for an executorship with the other attorney, he would have told me on the phone right away. He said, well, Dan, I'm applying for an executor certificate, and it's going to be shared between myself and the other attorney. He never said that, okay? And then it was at that point, okay, that I realized that Mullowney was trying to remove me and my brother as executor, okay? But here's the thing. Mullowney had no reasons all along to remove me as executor and trustee. There was no reason why I couldn't be trusted. None. No reasons at all. I have no criminal history outside of 2008, the incident with the Premier of Ontario. I had no criminal record, and I was drunk and out of my mind. So the point here is that my character is very good, and I would be trusted as executor trustee, and my brother would be treated fairly. I mean, look at it from your own perspective, okay? My brother's going around with a will that he drew up, right? And he's showing this will everywhere, the banks, the funeral home, the city of Crystal Beach, where my mom's property is. And in that will, it says, I get the property and he doesn't. All right? In my will, it says that he's entitled to half the property. That property's worth nearly $500,000. In my will, he gets 50% of it. In his will, I get all of it. Now, I asked the public, how can somebody think like that? Like, what's going on here with my brother? You know, and I'm not talking about Mullowney. I'm talking with him like something's not right about this. Okay. So Mullowney tells me when I'm sitting waiting for my appointment that Thursday in July 2022, waiting for my appointment in the Scotiabank, that they've agreed. Okay. So then after that phone call, I didn't have time to think on it. And when I got home, I started thinking on it. And then I thought, well, so then I contacted Mullowney on the phone and I emailed him. And I said, well, Mr. Mullowney, regarding the application for the executor certificate, who's going to be executor? Who are you planning on for this? He didn't respond. Didn't respond. I called him, never responded. As usual, right? No explanation indicating to me, was he applying for the executorship himself? Now, chances are the other lawyer wouldn't be able to be in opposition to Mullowney requesting to be appointed executor because Mullowney had a lot on my brother. Okay. So the other lawyer would be in a pretty tight position. All right. And I don't know what this lawyer said to the other attorney. He won't tell me. Mullowney, I asked him, the executor thing, like, okay. But in my mind, okay, without him actually knowing, I decided to retain my executor and trusteeship, and I would go against that. I just wanted to know from him, without telling him my reasons, what kind of executor certificate and who would be executor. It could have been me, for all I know. So that's why I asked him, and I didn't say anything. The minute he told me that the executor trusteeship would not fall on me, I would have said, no, I don't agree. I want to be executor, and I already am. I'm not prepared to give it up. On the other hand, my brother has committed acts where now I have the power to legally have him forced to be told by a court order that he's no longer executor of anything. Okay, so I have that legal ability now, and I'm going to exercise that legal right because I have evidence of my brother committing fraud. Okay, and using a will that's illegal. That will's illegal. And then he tried to sell the house underfoot without notifying me. Okay. Now, I don't know. You see, maybe my brother had contacted my attorney and said, look, I want to talk to my brother. He could have done that. And Mullowney would have said no. Or maybe my brother emailed him saying, look, I want to talk to my brother. I want his phone number. I want to call him. He could have done that. Okay. But I don't know, you see. And of course, if my brother emailed Mullowney making that request, Mullowney would treat him the same way he's treated me. He wouldn't respond. Okay, see, Mullowney was out to be executor. He was only willing to represent me if I would allow him to be executor. And I said no. I said no 2 months ago because of what he pulled on the storage. He lost trust and the estate was damaged as far as I know. Okay, and Mr. Mullowney never came forward to explain to me exactly what happened to my storage. Okay, he never explained anything to me. All right, at my request. Because he knew that if he told me the truth, that he screwed me on my mom's storage and told me not to go to the banks to have them pay for it. He damaged the estate with this, okay? So it's his own fault. He can go into court and say whatever he wants in response to my lawsuit against him, but the judges are going to say to him, well, why didn't you tell your client this when he asked you? I've got all my emailed requests of this attorney all logged in this phone. They're all there, all 2,000 of them. I got 2,000 emails in there somewhere. And a lot, 300 or 400 or 500 of those emails that I've got on record in my phone, in my Gmail, are all communications to him that were never answered, okay? Many of them. So I got him that way. He's not going to be able to go into court and say, well, that's not going to work, all right? He may go into court and say, well, his phone was hacked. That's why I didn't email him. He may try and tell them that, but here's the problem. So was the phone itself. They were listening in on the phone. And again, he could have called me into his office. He could have sent me a registered letter, once every 2-3 weeks. Come in and see me for 15 minutes, Dad. No problem. If he was scared about COVID, I could have talked to him for 20 feet away with a mask on. No problem. Okay? He didn't even do that. So, boy, oh boy. So the end product is chances are the lawyer, my brother's lawyer, and again, I cannot say to you people in public that my brother ever had a lawyer. It's possible he never did. I've asked this lawyer Mullowney to provide me with evidence, proof that my brother had attorneys, and I want their phone numbers and I want to talk to them, okay? And he declined. I asked him for draft copies of his conversations with them. Nothing, okay? Zero. Nothing from him. It would appear that, my lawyer was accepting my brother's executorship and not mine. That's what was going on. And I knew that when he said to me that the bills and the storage were taken care of, because Mr. Mullowney, he couldn't do it. The banks wouldn't even talk to him because he's not executor, okay? Me, they would talk to, right? And I could pay the bills. And I'm very angry because I could have saved my mom's storage a long time ago. I could have paid for it back in February if this guy had not have told me not to go to the banks, okay? When he told me not to go to the banks, what he was telling me is you're not executor or trustee. Now, here's the problem, folks, and I need to mention this now. It just kind of popped up. You have to understand something. Yes, I did get the wills from somebody there. Sent them to me, okay? Both of them, okay? But I never read them. I didn't read them for February, March, April. I didn't actually read the wills until June, because I tried to read them, but I started crying, and I just simply had my wife put them away, because the loss of my mom affected me much longer than it does maybe for most people. It just took me longer, and even now it's bothering me as I mention it. So it took me a long, long time to get over my mom's passing. And I'm still not over it. My eyes are watering up again. So this is all a tragedy. And this lawyer ruined my estate. That's what he did. Okay? I told him months ago that I told him, look, Mr. Mullowney, I said, I'm willing to hold you as the attorney of the estate, okay, to write up all the documents, to prepare for the probate. But I will retain my executor and trusteeship. You're working for me as executor, okay? He refused to accept that. It's either Mr. Mullowney was going to be executor or Mr. Mullowney was not going to represent me. This was his position, okay? And that was bullying on his part. So I am really, really upset. And, the Supreme Court wants to hear this, and they are going to. My poor mother, my mom left me responsible to protect her estate. I can't imagine how she feels right now. I remember before she died, the last thing she said to me on the phone was she says to me, Todd, she says, I wish I had a car. We had a car. She said, I would take me down to see my china at the storage place for the last time. Okay? And this lawyer's going to pay for what he's done. I'm going to have him disbarred. You're going, buddy. And I hope you see my video, Mullowney. You are done completely. And I'm going to sue you, Mr. Mullowney, in the Supreme Court for damages. You understand? You are going to pay for what you have done. And I want him to know that. Okay? He has hurt my mother, and this scumbag has hurt me. And I am telling you, Mullowney, when I'm done with you, let me tell you something, my friend. you'll be moving out of that Chateau Laurier because you won't be able to afford anymore to have an office there. And mark my words. When I come after someone, Mr. Mullowney, I don't let go. Do you understand? Until I get my remedy. And I want him to know that. Okay. That's why I treasured my mother's storage. You know, it didn't really mean anything to me, you know. But because of what she said to me on the phone before she died, that it was her. Before she died, she wanted me to get a car and take her to the storage so she could see her mother's furniture and her china for one last time. Okay? And this bastard Mullowney has stopped me from going to my mother's grave and stopped me from getting her a headstone. All right? And this matter is going to you people in the Supreme Court of Canada. And I want my brother arrested and charged for fraud and for attempted criminal theft of my 50% of my mom's property. That's what I want, and I'm going to get it. So right now, the only thing sparing my brother and J.L. Lee Mullowney is the fact that I just don't have a laptop. But soon I'm going to have one. And that is when, Mr. Mullowney, your problems are getting started, along with my brother. So, I was used to calling my mom every 2 days, And after my mom passed away for 3 or 4 months, I was getting up in the morning telling my wife, I got to call my mom, And then it hit me, well, she's dead. She died. So nobody cares, It's as if my wife and I haven't been through enough already. And then these blood-sucking bastards wanting to steal my estate from me. That's really loathsome. I guess Mullowney thought that I wouldn't fire him, Oh yeah, he's fired. Absolutely. I don't care if he sends me a check for $1 million. He's fired. Oh, I'll take the check. That's not a problem, right? But he's fired. Fired. Okay. So, and for many good reasons, the things he said to me. One day on the phone, he said to me in a very angry sort of voice, he said to me, if it hadn't have been for your mother, Dan, you wouldn't be getting a thing, he said to me on the phone. I could not believe that this person was saying that to me. In that tone, in an accusational tone. It was almost as if he was saying, how dare you turn against your mother? If it hadn't have been for her, you wouldn't get a thing. This is after I told this lawyer my brother was beating her and stealing her cards. I got the evidence here. I got a box of evidence from Crystal Beach from someone there, which included my mom's diaries. My brother, for example, going into her bedroom. I got it right here in my mom's writing. It's in her handwriting. These are diaries kept by her of the things he was doing to her. He went into her bedroom one day and said, Mom, I'm writing your will. I've got it here. It's going to go to the Supreme Court. And I'm going to verify it with a signature of my mother's. I've got my mom's health card. I have her driver's license. I've got cards here with her signature on them, and the Supreme Court will be able to verify that her diaries on my brother's criminal attacks against her are verified as her writing. It won't take the judges very long to see that. Okay, so I really got these people good. The only thing, like I said, that's stopping me is the fact I don't have a laptop. I need a printer too. I have a printer, but I don't know if I can hook it up to the laptop. We'll see. I do need a good printer, though. I'm going to get one, but it's going to take us some time. I'm going to file the application as soon as I can, but I need to do it on a laptop. So I need to download the Supreme Court file on PDF. You see, the reason why I have a hard copy of the application for the Supreme Court, but I'm not going to use that because I need a record of my filing the application on my laptop. Okay, I need a record that I did that because my laptop will prove that I did that. Okay, mind you, the problem with that simply is that whoever's hacking my iPhone can hack my laptop. Okay, here, this is where it gets a little bit sketchy. You know. So my wife says I should just simply put the house up for sale. My brother's blocked from selling it, but I'm not. That's the whole thing. I can actually sell the house. Okay, if I want, I can put it up for sale. I think I can. I'd have to call a realty agent and see if I can put the house up for sale. I'd have to talk to them and see, what's required. I would imagine they would require the will and the death certificate because I'm executor trustee, so I can actually do it. My brother can't. He can't do it. He's been blocked. As far as I know, I'm not blocked, so I actually can do it. And then if I can and I can put the house up for sale, then the realty agent's going to have to get in there, which means I have to go there. So I got to go now and call one, and I'll post this video, and and then if necessary, I'll do another video to let you all know what happened there. If my lawyer can be executor, okay, and can sell my mother's house, okay, my brother wants the house sold anyway. Now, I don't know, I'd like to try and contact him, and I'm gonna get the real estate agent to go to the house, and because his sign is still in the window, okay, with his email address, and I'm gonna get her to email him, and he's going to provide her with his email address to me, and I'm going to tell her to get it and email him and give me his email address, and I will email my brother and tell him what's going on here, and maybe my brother is going to sing a different tune than what this lawyer's been singing. It doesn't matter. I am going to sue J.L. Lee Mullowney for $50,000 in the Supreme Court. I'll be requesting $50,000 for pain and suffering. As a result of this, lawyer keeps making me promises I'm going to get my money the following week, and then it just doesn't happen. The idea is you don't promise your client anything until the other side has signed an agreement, okay? That's the deal. My brother has to sign the agreement, and it has to be under the bona fide will, okay? And if he refuses to, okay, then that's too bad, okay? Because Mr. Mullowney, that was the only option out for him, okay? Because I got him anyway. He had no right to file my brother's 2016 will in the court. He knew it was illegal. He never told me, which means that he was trying to make money, is what he was trying to do. He was withholding the truth that the will was no good. Because Mr. Mullowney wants to make $500 an hour outside of the contract. That's what he was doing. You see, and this is more proof that he was trying to bloodsuck the estate. That's what he was doing. And now he's stopped from doing that. Stopped. Okay. So anyways, I got to go now. Shalom. God bless. Have a nice day. Happy Sabbath to all of you. And I'll post this thing a little bit later this evening. Okay, I'll upload it to YouTube. I don't know what the data is going to cost me, but I think I have 20 gigs, so we'll see. Okay, Shalom. God bless. And I'll take the liberty of saying I thank the Supreme Court again, for being kind and, letting me file there. I don't have any choice. There's nowhere else for me to go. My wife and I looked for another attorney. I could not find one anywhere. So it's nice of the Supreme Court to offer. I really appreciate them making that offer, and I hope that they keep their word. Shalom. God bless. Have a nice weekend, and God be with you. Amen.